Good morning, social media friends, new connections. Welcome to today's episode of Selling That House. My name, if this is the first time watching one of our episodes, my name is Bill, and I am bringing into the studio my co-host, Chris.
How's it going, Bill?
Hey, I'm doing well. The weather certainly has changed, at least according to the calendar, right?
Oh yeah, happy Friday.
Happy Friday right back to you. What's going on in the Fox Valley, Geneva, St. Charles with you and your family?
Well, tonight we've got high school football.
Love it.
We're playing rivalry games, St. Charles East versus St. Charles North. So that should be a really good event. I'm also planning to do some Halloween decorating. My wife's getting me out and about to decorate the front. We don't have any real little ones anymore, but she still likes to do Halloween decorating. And I'm also going to play some golf with my youngest son. So I've already got a full weekend, but it's going to be a good one. It looks like good weather.
Yeah, that's the reason why I think my wife is also whispering in my ear about maybe we should hang up the Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
So for all of you watching us today, once again, welcome to today's episode of Selling That House. Chris, I know leading up to today's episode, you've been alerting me that you're bringing on to today's conversation one of your team members. So rather than wait, let's welcome her into the studio, okay?
Sure, let's do it right away.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you both doing?
We're doing well.
Thank you both for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Britt. Well, first of all, William, I have to tell you, I'll give a little bit of an introduction. I met Brittany first time, I think she was probably about 17 years old.
Wow.
Her aunt was working with me at the time, and at that time, Brittany, she wanted to come out and meet us because she said, and she came out, she said, I'm going to be a realtor, and she was only 17 at the time. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Okay.
Wow.
And it's amazing to see that, she came back probably about 4 years ago. And, Brittany is truly one of the rising stars in real estate. I've been at this a real long time.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of people start out. Britt, how old are you now?
Oh, no. I am 27 now.
Yeah. So Brittany's 27, and I pulled her numbers yesterday. And with what she's got under contract right now, Brittany will have closed 138 transactions already in her career.
Wow.
At 27 years old. That's a crazy number. I don't know too many people in this business who had 138 closings under their belt at 27 years old. So I kid you not, Brittany will go on to be a elite agent as she goes. She's got nothing but upside to go. But so anyway, Britt, let's talk a little bit about your journey in real estate so far. I know you've worked at a couple different places. So what have you done so far? Different jobs you've had along the way to get you to where you're at right now.
Great question. So a little bit about my background, like Chris said, I've always known I wanted to be in real estate growing up. Some people want to be a doctor. Some people want to be, an attorney. Some people want to be the president. I've always known I wanted to be a realtor. I love what I do. I'm extremely passionate about it. I'm so thankful to you, Chris, for the mentorship and the kind words that you've just shared. But as far as my journey, I did, believe it or not, I spent a lot of time in accounting I knew that wasn't where I wanted to ultimately stay, but I had to wait till I was 21 years old till I could officially get my real estate license. And when that time came, I was ready to go. I started out at a Compass out in Bucktown. I was ultimately, I thought being in the big city is where I wanted to be. And Chris, I still work a lot out in the Chicagoland area, but at this time I was drawn to the city. I was excited by the idea of selling high rises. I don't know if it was a 3-hour commute from Geneva to get downtown, sitting in traffic, and then the 3 hours I was sitting in traffic coming home. But I was super happy that Chris and his team were persistent on bringing me on. And I've never looked back. It was the best decision for my career. The mentorship, like I said, the overall guidance, the team, administrative team that we have that truly cares about not only my goals, but my clients' goals is unmatched. And I don't think I could find that at any other brokerage.
Wow.
So Britt, beyond being an agent though, when you came to Grandview, what other job did you do?
So I was in accounting. So my father owns a billing and revenue cycle company out in healthcare, and
you're missing my question.
Oh.
What job did you have at Grandview Realty?
Gotcha.
When you first got here? What did you do?
I sure am. So I was an inside sales associate here at Grandview. And that was the very best position to start me off at before throwing me in the field. And, being 100% an agent, I was pretty much working a 40-hour job as an inside sales representative. And I loved it. I learned, how to talk to people. I learned about what was important to both sellers and buyers. I helped many other agents on our team, nurture leads, and ultimately because of it, now I know how to work the business. But again, that's because of Chris's guidance and mentorship and telling me where I was right and where I was wrong. And I'm very happy for the transition from inside sales associate to becoming an agent.
So Britt's not only an agent here. I mean, I'll even tell you this, William. She's our lead agent now, even at 27 years old. She started out working predominantly with buyers, but now she works predominantly with sellers. But I was looking at your numbers, and you've closed 52 buyers to date, career. Which is only 3 years, and then you've closed 86 sellers so far.
Wow,
that's we had Miles in here last time. He hustles, of course, but Britt's on a whole nother level of hustle too. She's real estate, when she says is her life, she does it. And then there's one other key statistic here, William, that I'm going to tell you that, I don't want to jinx her but we talk about it all the time in the office is, I've been at this 20 years, worked with some really great agents. Myself, relationship building is really what I do. But, of course, I've been let go of listings before. Everybody does. Sellers will let agents go. They just want to try something else and move in a different direction. Britt has never been let go of a listing.
Wow.
86 closed, but never been let go from a listing by a seller.
Impressive.
And I would know this because I know whenever anyone gets a listing or gets let go, because I have to sign off.
Yeah.
So this isn't a storybook statistic. She's never been let go from a listing. And why? Wow. And why do you think that is, Britt? Why do you think what do you do that makes it so a seller doesn't want to let you go?
Well, I get to know them on a personal level. For me, it's not just about the transaction. It's not about getting in and getting out and closing the deal. It's about hearing, what's important to them and making sure that we achieve each and every one of their goals. And I think we can all agree, William, I'm sure even on the lending side, this is a very emotional, process,
Yes.
whether you're buying or selling. And
Yes.
so, despite the craziness, it's really my job to keep my clients' goals and, organized ultimately. That way we do get to the finish line. And so I'm very thankful to say I have relationships with each and every one of my clients, even after the transaction is over. And I
Wow.
keep getting to know them on, like I said, a personal level. It's not just business for me.
My suspicion, Brittany, is that beyond that core skill that you either must have had the skill and you're just honing it, developing it yourself, maybe with the coaching mentorship from Chris. And that is, here's one thing I know in our business.
Mm-hmm.
The secret sometimes is managing the client's expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You must be a master at that. What's the listing? Oh my gosh.
Well, in addition to really being able to have this time to get to know them on this personal level, I have to thank my team. Again, having Linda, as my operations manager, having Nick as our marketing director, having, a lot of administrative help from the listing side, the transactional side, that, really opens up my schedule to where I can just focus on the client and their needs.
Yeah.
And in real estate, relationship building, one of the things why I knew Britt was going to be successful at this, as I got to know her more, really like 3 years ago when she first got here, 3 to 4 years ago. Working in this, if you work selflessly, it gets paid back to you. And I keep telling Britt, one day all of this is really going to pay off for her,
right?
Because of the book of business she's building. And she doesn't believe me yet, but yeah, but yeah, Britt is a very she's a selfless person. She definitely puts her clients' needs in front of hers to a fault, to where I've seen Britt do things for sellers that I've never seen that anybody do. She had a seller that was kind of had a disability, and Brittany's over there mowing their lawn before the picture. Stuff like that.
She had 8 acres of land. She had 8 acres of land, and we had to make sure it was ready to go.
We could go on for days on things I've seen Britt do for sellers that I've never seen anybody else do.
Yeah.
But that stuff gets paid back. And your business today, though, too, I mean, when you first got here, your business was heavily reliant on Grandview and leads that we could provide for you. But your business in 3 years is already at about a third referral. She's already at about a third referral, and she's only 3 years in the business with this many transactions. So eventually it'll go to all referral, and then I'll have to find another lead agent.
Then you'll have to rinse, repeat, and recycle your process to find the next Britt.
So Britt, you're launching your own brand now, right? So it's Listings by Brittany Jane. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, you, the listeners, are the first ones to really hear about it. I've been putting little marketing efforts out on social media to, begin initial marketing efforts, but you, the listeners, are the first ones to really hear. I'm so excited that we're to, let the world know I'm finally opening up my own little branch under the Grandview umbrella. And it is Listings by Brittany Jane, the Real Estate Matchmaker. Super excited about that.
Love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're really excited. We're really proud of that. And I know that, Brittany is going to, continue to take it to the next level as an agent. So, Britt, what do you see right now though? We're in a challenging market. Okay, but I was thinking this morning, you hear people ask, is now a good time to buy a house?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know what my answer is right now? There's not a better time, my
Mm-hmm.
friend. There's
Mm-hmm.
not a better time because the values are continuing to escalate here. And you know what? Right now, I don't know if there's a better time to purchase. I really do. If you can snag the house you want, go with it. Because I was pulling inventory this morning for Grandview. I do every Friday of overall MLS inventory. And it took another beating this week, in my opinion, just on the preliminary. Like, Kane County is decimated, but so Britt, what are you saying to, buyers, sellers, things like that about today's market? And, what advice would you give to a seller putting their house on the market today?
So the conversation I'm having with the seller is, number one, in terms of pricing, we really can't, despite the low inventory levels we're seeing, we can't afford to be wrong with our numbers. Oh, yeah. So when I approach the listing percentage, my apologies, the listing, the list price that they're going to approve, I bring data. I bring loads of data to support that value. I don't believe in, overpricing a listing. Now in our, world, overpricing a listing, we're talking 50 grand and above. Right. In this market, if you're in your 20, you're talking 20, 30 above where we feel the house needs to be, we can try it, but ultimately we're going to be sitting on the market, for a little bit of time waiting for the right kind of buyer.
Right. So Britt, what if a seller doesn't want to use your list price? Then what?
Then we can try it out at their number. I'll give them 2 weeks. And
but you take the listing no matter what.
I take the listing no matter what. And we have a conversation at that 2-week mark, and I make this a process where it's a team effort. Yeah. If they can afford to continue to wait for that right kind of buyer, or they don't need to sell, tomorrow, then obviously we can keep on reducing the price. We're here, to guide them on the list price, but ultimately our sellers have full control of their listings. We're not going to refuse them, from trying something out on the market. Right. But with that being said, I would also say having the home ready for photography, for showings, tends to be pretty key here. Sellers do tend to think, hey, I've got a last minute showing, I can leave things, things out of place. Unfortunately, today's buyers, they really want to envision themselves in the space, and giving them that flexibility to do that by minimizing, the home really results in the very best outcome and the shortest amount of market days.
Wonderful.
Now,
what about a buyer? What are you telling those guys right now?
What I'm telling my buyers is to ultimately look for a home with a layout that meets their needs. We can work around cosmetic updates. I'm sure you both know they aren't as expensive as some buyers may think that they are. I mean, I can go to Home Depot and find some vinyl flooring for less than what I'd pay someone to install some carpeting these days. So what I would say is, don't be afraid, to make your own. If you don't like the floor plan of the home, there's not a lot I can do for you. That's tens of thousands of dollars to do something there. But if the floor plan meets your criteria, we should work with it. We should work with that home. It's in the area you want it to be. Because the question I'm getting every day from my buyers is, Brittany, if I don't make an offer on this house, when do you think the next house is going to be available in this same subdivision? Unless we have a crystal ball, we don't know when's the next time that, another house in that subdivision is going to be available. because I'm sure we can all agree inventory is at an all-time low.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So what are you doing when you're negotiating to win? What do you feel like you need to do?
So number one, we've got to get that property under contract, right? So it's my job to run comps for that buyer. But if it's priced accordingly and my buyer is set on obtaining credits at the end of the day and they've made their mind up about credits, let's secure the home first. Let's get it under contract. And then, during the inspection, we can start asking for credits. Why? Because it's a lot easier, to have the inspector be the bad guy and say, well, I found this and this wrong with the house versus, hey, I immediately want $5,000 off of your asking price.
Yeah,
market.
That's a really good negotiating tactic. But so if you have a buyer in a multiple offer situation, what are you doing with your offers to make them even in consideration?
Ooh, so I have been in many multiple offer situations, but I am very thankful to say that I've never had a single client, Chris, you can vouch for me on this. I've never had a client successfully use an appraisal gap or anything of that sort. Right now, I don't need to have my buyers do that.
Yeah.
What I really sell the listing agent on is how qualified my client is, and working with people like Bill who can support, how qualified my client is. I know that wasn't maybe the conversation 2 years ago when we were getting 30 to 50 offers on each listing, but in today's market, the fallout rate on contracts right now is also at an all-time high. So having that conversation with the listing agent to assure them that my buyer is going to make it to the finish line, or else I wouldn't be working with them, is what you say, but whatever you've got to do to build trust and security is what I'm doing to get my buyer's offer accepted over even higher offers sometimes.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
You can't just send an email and hope for the best. You would be doing the bare minimum as a buyer's agent if you just send an email and hope for the best.
Yeah. It's kind of evident to me, Brittany, that, with how intentional, how focused, and how great you are at managing client expectations, how you're using data to move your client, whether it's a buyer or a seller, through their journey to the outcome that they want, which is to get to the next chapter, right? Because, Chris, Brittany, in what we do, really, that's what we do. We help our clients get to that next chapter. So wonderful. My hats off to you. Are you seeing, Brittany, are you seeing how, the concept of work from home, hybrid, whatever that's going to turn out to be, are you seeing the movement from the city into the suburbs and specifically Geneva, St. Charles?
We sure have. And a lot of, again, the crazy bidding wars were actually, I've noticed the highest offers we were receiving, out in this area were from, individuals moving from the city. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Kane County, I can't believe how low the inventory is in Kane this morning.
Yeah.
It's so I do think you do get a lot of people transplanting from Chicago and they land out in Kane.
Yeah.
The houses are a bit newer in a lot of areas than DuPage and things like that. I mean, we have big subdivisions of houses built in the early 2000s. That's a newer house compared to east of here. Schools are good if you can handle the commute, but if you're not commuting anymore,
exactly,
it's a wonderful place to live. If you have to pay $4 a gallon for gas and take 3-hour rides to the city, then no. But Britt works all over though, William.
I know that.
Working for Grandview, you get the opportunity to work all over Chicagoland. So if you listed the houses that, Brittany has closed, especially for someone 27, you'd be amazed how many different towns Britt has closed houses in. You have one right now where in Ransom?
Oh yeah, I sure do.
Ransom, Illinois right now. Do you even know where that's at?
I don't know where that's at.
Yeah, exactly.
Population, let's just say it's about 300 people total.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Britt's going to be the #1 agent in that town after the first sale.
Yeah. all 300 people will see her.
We'll do a mailer.
Call her.
I've managed to get multiple offers on that one now too.
You do right now?
I do.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna say, it's been great having you on. It's really fun, and we're super proud of what you've done so far and having you at Grandview. So,
Absolutely.
But I'll turn it over to William here.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we wrap up today's episode, you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. The mic was dropped. Look out for listings by Brittany Jane. We're the first ones to hear about this news. At least I was. So
yes.
Congratulations to you. And Chris, hey, you've got this rising star busting out. And so what I'm hearing is you got to rinse, repeat, recycle your process again and look for the next 2 or 3, right?
Oh yeah. We've got some more agents starting here. So we're hoping to get them to where Britt is. Our business here has been growing over the years. Britt got to see us from, a really starting point to watch us grow over the time. And she's really been someone who's, put in a lot of time to help us get pointed in the right direction. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
And as we wrap up, let me share this with all of you who are watching. Should you need the services of Brittany Sanchez, real easy. Just start Googling listings by Brittany. That's what I'm taking away. On that note, if you are a seller and or a buyer and you're looking for that relationship, that professional real estate broker that is completely focused on you and only you, then of course, that's what I've taken away today. For those of you who are real estate brokers, our peers in the business, if you have an interest to guest in one of our upcoming episodes, feel free to engage us. We love to explore how we can bring you in to one of our future ongoing conversations. All you need to do is simply scan this QR code. Myself and Chris will reach out to you. We'll start a conversation and kind of map out how to share your story to a larger audience. So, ladies and gentlemen, Chris and Brittany, thank you for sharing your time with me, with all of us. And hey, Chris, don't work too hard on the golf course or hang in your Halloween decorations.
Oh yeah. I get tired after these. I'm gonna probably just go take a nap now.
He says that, but he's really going to be working.
Exactly.
Expanding the team. I know that. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, until we see each other in the next episode of Selling That House, have a good Friday. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, William.